The smell of bleach never leaves your hands. It stays beneath the nails, burns into the fingerprints, follows you even after the water stops running. I was kneeling beside a gas station toilet in Amarillo, scrubbing the edge where filth met porcelain, when the door creaked open and a man in a dark suit called my name. Mr. Kareem? No one had said my name with respect in 10 years. He looked out of place, black shoes polished, briefcase gleaming under the flickering fluorescent light. I thought he had the wrong man. Then he said it. "I'm from Houston. Your uncle passed away." I stopped scrubbing. He continued, voice steady, rehearsed. "He left you everything. The refinery, the land, the accounts, $340 million. The brush slipped from my hand, splashing dirty water across my shoes. He handed me an envelope, yellow with age, the corners frayed as if it had been waiting a lifetime to be opened. My name was written on it in faded ink, his handwriting. Inside, a single sheet. I unfolded it carefully, afraid it might crumble. The first line made my hands tremble. The last line, what my uncle confessed before he died, made me understand everything. It began 25 years earlier. My wife, Amna, was 28, sharp, beautiful, and perfectly aware of her effect on people. I was 35, working 12-hour shifts at the factory my uncle owned. He called me the honest one, the one he could trust. Back then, I believed that mattered. Amna didn't. She wanted more, nicer clothes, bigger cars, a life that shimmered when she walked into a room. My cousin Rashid provided that shimmer. He was everything I wasn't, wealthy, loud, and drenched in arrogance. I ignored the signs for years, the late calls, the perfume that wasn't hers, the way she laughed when Rashid's name was mentioned, pretending it was nothing. Then one night, she looked at me with that cruel smile, the one that made her beauty feel like a weapon, and said, "You'll die cleaning toilets, Kareem. That's all you'll ever be good for." She left the next morning, took everything, my savings, my dignity, my silence. She married Rashid 6 months later. I tried to start over, but the world is not kind to broken men. Years passed, work disappeared, my body aged faster than time itself. And eventually, I found myself doing exactly what she said, cleaning toilets, scrubbing away my own reflection every night, until that letter arrived. I didn't open it again for 3 days. It sat on the small table beside my bed in the cheap motel room next to the cracked lamp and the half-empty bottle of aspirin. Every time I reached for it, my hands froze. Because some letters change everything you think you know about your life. When I finally read it, I didn't sleep that night. My uncle's handwriting trembled across the page, uneven, dying. If you're reading this, I am gone, and so is Rashid. That line alone made my breath stop. He wrote about the refinery, how it had been in our family for generations, how he had trusted Rashid to manage it. But then the letter shifted tone, colder, sharper. He stole from me, lied to me, and he didn't do it alone. I read those words again and again. My pulse slowed, my chest felt hollow. Amna helped him. She forged the signatures, hid the transfers. I didn't tell you because I wanted proof. I have it now. When I'm gone, it's yours. The refinery, the fortune, everything. And then, the final line, written as if each word had cost him a breath. "Forgive me, Kareem, for letting them destroy you before I could destroy them." I sat there, staring at the ink until it blurred. The world outside the window was silent, except for the faint hum of the neon motel sign. The next morning, I took the first bus to Houston. The refinery smelled like fire and memory. It was larger than I remembered, sprawling across the horizon like a sleeping beast. I hadn't seen it since my father's funeral. Now it was mine. Every inch of pipe, every drum of oil, every man who looked up when I walked through the gates. The lawyer handed me a folder filled with documents, proof of ownership, bank transfers, property deeds. And tucked inside, another envelope. This one was smaller, newer. The handwriting, hers. I didn't open it at first. I didn't need to, because I'd already seen the photographs. The lawyer had shown me everything my uncle's investigator found. Amna signing papers beside Rashid, smiling as they shifted my uncle's fortune into their own accounts. It was all there. Signatures, timestamps, witness statements. Proof of everything I once refused to believe. I went to her that evening. She was living in a mansion on the outskirts of the city, a place so large it looked like wealth itself had built it. The gate opened automatically when I said my name. She came to the door wearing a silk robe, eyes widening like she'd seen a ghost. "Kareem," her voice cracked. I held up the folder. "He left me everything." She said nothing, just stared at the seal, the letterhead she recognized from years ago. Then her hand covered her mouth. "No, he wouldn't." I stepped closer, my tone calm, almost polite. "He did, and he knew." I laid the folder on her marble floor, turned to leave. Behind me, I heard the sound of papers scattering, her breath trembling as she flipped through the evidence, the photographs, the signatures. And then, the first sob. I didn't look back. 2 weeks later, the news broke. Rashid's accounts were frozen. The authorities were investigating the stolen refinery funds. The empire they built on deceit was collapsing. Slowly, publicly, beautifully. I didn't need to lift a finger. My uncle had already done everything. All I had to do was walk through the ashes. One evening, I received a call. Unknown number. I knew who it was before answering. Her voice was small now, not sharp, not mocking, just empty. "Kareem, please, they're taking everything." I didn't know he was. "You did," I said quietly. The silence stretched. "I loved you once," she whispered. "We were young, we made mistakes." I let out a slow breath. "You didn't make a mistake, Amna. You made a choice." Another pause, the sound of her trying not to cry. "I have nothing," she said finally. "Nothing left." I looked out the window of my office, the refinery lights flickering in the distance like dying stars. "You still have your mirror," I said. "That's more than you deserve." I ended the call. Sometimes I drive at night along the refinery's edge, where the flames burn above the tanks like silent guardians. The air smells of oil and heat and memory. People call me sir now. They don't know who I was, the man on his knees with a toilet brush scrubbing away the laughter of a woman who once called him worthless. I don't correct them. The letter from my uncle stays locked in my desk. I read it once a year, on the day he died. Not out of grief, but out of discipline, to remember the difference between loss and clarity. They say revenge doesn't heal. They're right. It doesn't. It purifies. And in that purification, something colder, sharper, more permanent takes its place. Not happiness, not peace. Control. The kind that doesn't need to shout or prove anything. The kind that simply is. The kind that lets you look at the world and finally, quietly, walk away from it. I wasn't the man who cleaned toilets anymore. I was the man who made the world remember what they threw away.